Hello everybody, it's Eleanor. I'm on plot 1. Thought I'd show you plot 1. I don't think I've shown you much of plot 1. Anyway, it's meant to be raining tonight and we're desperately in need because everything is so dry, so arid. I mean, I shouldn't really have put that Rudbeckia in that tub because it spends most of its time shriveled up. And I put a big load of manure at the bottom to give it moisture, but in this sort of weather it's a non-starter really. Anyway, it's going to rain tonight. It's probably going to rain all next week. I just hope it doesn't forget to stop, because that's the trouble in this country, isn't it? I don't mean to sound negative, but it stops. It starts raining and it forgets to stop. Anyway, so here we are, plot 1. It's quite nice actually. This lichness is almost ready to come into some flowers now, which will be nice. And I have put in a helichrysum just here next to it. I think people call them straw flowers because the flowers are very dry. You can dry them and use them in decorations and things. So I've dotted those around the plot, as you'll see as we go around. But I just wanted to share with you my espalier apple this year, because it's looking particularly glossy and happy, and there's lots of little apples coming on it. I've had to rewire some of these wires. They were the thinner ones like this one, but the one up here is a nice chunky one. There's a couple of the newer ones in because it is getting bigger and we get very windy on this site, so in the winter those wires can snap, so I've had to swap to something chunkier. If I can get some more of that product I will, but they'd run out when I went back to get some more. So the thing is, there are some of these like curled up ones again, and I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know what it is. I don't want it, that's for certain, because I have a feeling it damages the apples later, whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is. See, I found some on the other one as well. I don't know what it is and I don't want it. That's a shame. I haven't seen those because I'd looked at the tree from the other side, and from the other side there's no sign of it. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but I don't want it. Instinct says I don't want it. Look at this cistus. Isn't this gorgeous? Isn't that beautiful? I even hacked a big chunk off it here because it was somewhere out here and I thought that's too big, so I've hacked it back. And this plant next to it here, it's got a couple of little blue flowers on it. It's been crowded out. I think I'm going to have to try and move it at some point and put it on its own somewhere else, because this is obviously very happy here and it's prolific flowering. It's gorgeous, isn't it? The bees love it. Yeah, so move along. Look at this. Isn't this looking nice? Look at those flowers. Aren't they just exquisite? Climbing up the arch now, which is where I want it to go, but it has wandered off a bit. I noticed this piece round here. Look at this here. This piece here, I'm going to have to encourage that back up onto the arch because it's trying to reach across to the opposite bed. Just it to go where it shouldn't go. Okay, so just before I show you the rest of it, I'll show you this. This is an Echinacea in the middle, so it looks a bit like a Rudbeckia, but it's a pink version. So I just thought I'd put that there, and it's taking off now. And all around the edge of it are carrots. These are early Nantes, I think, I've put in here. And they're settling down nicely. Just keep, if you're growing carrots, just keep them well weeded. Don't let the weeds get in amongst them. Take them out while they're little, and you've got a chance of keeping them under control. But yeah, they look at the minute like there's going to be a good little crop of carrots. So I want Mother Nature to get them watered now so that they'll swell and get bigger faster. So here we go. Now I'm sorry everything looks a bit arid. Everywhere in the UK I think looks a bit arid at the minute. This teepee is for French climbing beans, but I'm holding off because they're not quite ready to go in. Unlike the runner beans here, which were planted at the same time as the French climbing beans, they are romping away. So I'll just wrap that round there. You can sort of see which way it wants to go. They have a natural, is that an anti-clockwise way of growing. No, that's clockwise. So, some plants go anti-clockwise, but these look like they're going clockwise. But that certainly does look like that's the way it wants to go, so I'll encourage it up. They were a little bit yellow, they still are a bit yellow, but I do find that when you first put beans in, it's a bit of a shock to their roots. I have fed them a couple of weeks after I put them in, but they're still a bit yellow. But I think once the rain starts and things even out in that department, I think they'll probably come okay. So that's the runner beans. And then just beyond there you can see they're sugar snap peas. They were given to me by my next door neighbour here. So they're looking rather nice, aren't they? Don't think they'll be long before we'll get a few nice little flowers on those. Beyond there, I'll walk down this little bit here. Beyond here are broad beans, and they're getting their flowers and chunking up quite nicely. So yeah, they're looking good. Shouldn't be too long before we start to see some pods developing. I've got potatoes coming up all over the place. I thought I'd got them all out. Obviously I haven't. I've got cummers everywhere. Look at them all here. My dad always called them cummers. But you know what? I'm going to leave them. They're not in the way of anything. They won't bother the beans. They won't bother the perpetual spinach over here. Well, they might. I might have to hack them out. But these here don't. So I'll just leave them. Let them do their thing. I certainly don't want any more of this year. Verbena, I've got enough of those. They grew along this edge last year like weeds, and I don't want them again, so I've got to be a bit brutal now and just hoe them off. There's a few more. Let's just get those out there. Don't want them. Got enough. I love them, but I don't want any more. Right. So that's the legume bed. Sorry about them looking arid, but that's the legume bed. This is the brassica bed. I've planted up the cabbages. I think they're all year round cabbage, these. I think so. Actually, they might be greyhound. I really can't remember now. I can't remember what I put in. Oh well, never mind. So they've been in for about a week. And I'm trying with eggshells, but I think I'm going to sprinkle around them with some slug pellets as well. They're under net, so the birds can't reach them. And the two at the end, of course, that's red kale. And down the centre, where the eggshells are at the minute, there will be, when they're a bit more chunked up, three, is it three? I got three? Yeah, 3 sprouts. So, but they're not big enough yet. So I'm not putting them in until they've got a good chance of survival. Over here, I've got rhubarb chard. So I use this in salads, gives some nice colour, and I can even use the big leaves. But there's about 8 plants there. Yeah, 8 plants, and they will produce salad leaves. There's a gap beyond that I don't know yet. I'll find something to pop in. I have got leeks, but they are definitely going in the other plot. I've got a designated bed for those. I think this is sort of indicates the planning of having a design, whoopsie daisy, to put things in. So I'm a bit wobbly, stood up too fast. Right, so there's going to be more parsnips here. I had very poor germination because of the dry weather. I've watered them again. I only put them in about 4 days ago. So I'm hoping with the change in the weather and the rain, we might see a bit more success with germination. So that is the brassica bed. Over here is the roots. And to be honest, most of them are onions. These are the set onions, which were a bit slow because of being dry, but they're chunking up quite nicely now. They're starting to get their thicker stems, and with the change in weather they're going to be a lot happier. These that I've watered recently are seed onions that I planted, so they're a bit behind at the minute, but they do tend to develop very quickly. And then these just come round. These over here are parsnips, using up the last of the root bed. Yeah, parsnips. And I've got 2 nice rows of parsnips going on there. I'm pleased with those. And if we turn round, this is the potatoes. Now these are all Charlotte, so that's second earlies. So they'll be ready middle to late July probably. They're looking nice. They've survived the 4 degrees last night. They've done all right. I think that's the last of the very cold morning temperatures. So yeah, I'm pleased with those. They're looking nice. They're all drilled up. And then we've just got our little bed along here, which I always have. That's Rudbeckia, but it's got rather a lot of grass in it. I'm going to have to go through it and get it out. Now this honeysuckle, which I love, I nearly had to pull it out because the arch, because you can just see a piece of it there, broke 2 years ago now. And I had one honeysuckle this side and I had this one over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a new arch in, a sturdier arch, and I'm going to allow this one to grow up and over the top, because I miss my arch at the gateway, like I missed the one down at the end of the plot, which I made with water pipes and canes, which held up against 100-mile-per-hour winds, so don't laugh, it works. Yeah, so going along here we've got Rudbeckia. It's a bit slower this year because of the dry weather. We've got the lupin, a Russell lupin, but it's gone back to its native form, that one, but it's fine. It still seems to be happy enough. Grew that one from seed. I've put in a couple of zinnias here and there and helichrysums. Now that is my verbena, and it is just starting to show signs of growth. So, and there's another one here, and that's definitely showing signs of growth. A couple more zinnias there. Hooker is looking nice. Nice, isn't it? Bees love it. It's looking really nice. This is the Alchemilla mollis. At the moment it's behaving, it's not all over the path. But as you can see, it does kill the grass when it flops everywhere. But at the moment it's very well behaved. Another lichness here. Lichness, a few more zinnias. Another verbena, just showing signs of growth, I think, that one. 2 more zinnias. This is the phlox. I brought a piece off the other plant from plot 2. It's such a well-behaved plant. It tends to be nice and upright, so that'll grow to about 3 foot tall. It's got purpley pink flowers, and it really is a lovely plant. It's well worth having. If you're looking for flowers, perennials, consider phlox. They really are lovely. They come in all sorts of colours. A couple more helichrysum there, and a lichness. That's just some daffodils that are finishing off. Another verbena. Verbascum. No, it's not verbascum, silly sausage, it's bergamot. It's nice, isn't it? Look at those flowers, aren't they just lovely? See, it's cottage garden, the bees just love it. So I have got these splattered around all over the place. And at the end, an autumn cedar, which at the moment, like the Alchemilla mollis, is behaving itself and not flopping all over the path. I did put some sweet peas in here and then promptly forgot about them. But you know what? They're just doing their own thing, and they do look like they're starting to chunk up. So hopefully they'll come up this arch here. and make a nice piece, a nice picture. There's still some of the old ones stuck in from last year. See here, don't bother taking it out, a bit lazy I suppose. Got more things to do than worry about bits of dead sticks I suppose. I'm doing it now the wrong time while you're watching me. That's it, there we go, a bit better. There we go, a bit tidier. Okay, so there we go. A little earlier in the season I did put a coat of paint on Wendy, and Wendy's looking a lot better for it. There's quite a bit of wood starting to appear, so she obviously needed a new one. And this honeysuckle, well, it's just enormous, but the trouble is I think the wind's blown it forwards, and I think the netting on the roof has shifted, so it's a little further down than I would prefer it to be. But it's still stayed up there. As long as it stays there, I'm all right. And I did put one of these little buntings. It's just a natural one, but I just thought it was I'd have loved one of those with little, you know, like little flowers and things on it, but I couldn't find one, so never mind. And there's my sign, Eleanor's Place. Dig, grow, relax. Enjoy your gardens, everybody. Bye bye.